If you are here, it is because you want to have an evolved mind, achieve a connection with your heart, and evolve into the special person you want to be. Have you ever wondered how divine silence can be? And what it can reveal about your power, authority, and even emotional control? Most people view silence as something uncomfortable, even as a form of weakness. When someone doesn't respond immediately, the most common reaction is to assume that the person is speechless or incapable of reacting. But what if I told you that, in fact, silence could be your greatest strength? It can be the key to enhancing your presence, earning respect, and even staying calm in high-pressure moments. In this video, you will learn how to use silence strategically to transform your life, whether in negotiations, professional interactions, or even personal relationships. Contrary to what many think, silence does not mean omission or fear. It is a powerful choice, a tool you can master to become a more centered, assertive, and respected person. But how can you use silence without appearing distant or indifferent? How can it help you control your emotions and convey more confidence? We will explore these questions and many more throughout this video, showing how silence can be the key to getting what you want without needing to say a word more. Silence has a unique power, often overlooked by those who prefer to talk incessantly. It is not an absence of words. It is a strategic presence, full of meaning. When applied correctly, silence can convey far more than a long, elaborate speech. When we choose to remain silent, we are demonstrating something very powerful: control over our own emotions. In moments of stress, anger, or frustration, the natural tendency is to react impulsively, often saying things we later regret. But silence, when used consciously, allows you to breathe, organize your thoughts, and ultimately respond with more clarity and rationality. A leader who knows when to remain silent conveys an image of stability and self-control. He does not rush to speak just to fill the space. On the contrary, he knows that silence can be a far more powerful way to assert his presence. A well-placed silence can command more respect than a string of hasty words. Great historical leaders understood the value of silence. Winston Churchill, for example, was known for his ability to use silence strategically, making his words even more impactful when they were finally spoken. Gandhi, with his silence during crucial moments, became a symbol of strength and peaceful resistance. For these leaders, silence was not a failure of communication, but a way to reinforce their authority without resorting to excessive rhetoric. Being silent does not mean being passive. On the contrary, it is a way of using time strategically. In negotiations, for example, silence can be a way to exert pressure, making the other party uncomfortable until they make a decision. In a meeting room, while everyone is speaking, silence can be a way to stand out, demonstrating confidence and patience. By learning to use silence, you also learn to master your emotions, not let yourself be swayed by external pressure, and create a deeper impact on the people around you. Believe it or not, the power of silence is within your reach, ready to be used to achieve your goals. In our daily lives, we often find ourselves in situations where speaking seems like the only answer. We are in a discussion and feel the need to speak in order to defend our point of view. Or, in a meeting, we think that our voice is necessary to assert our authority. But is speaking always the best strategy? Sometimes, the real solution to a conflict, a negotiation, or even maintaining peace is silence. We live in an era where the overload of information and the need to show off lead us to speak more than necessary. At work, in social life, or in a debate, we often end up saying more than we'd like, which can weaken our position. This happens because excessive talking can be seen as an attempt to fill the void or, worse, as a sign of insecurity. For example, in a conflict situation, when someone starts raising their voice and trying to impose their opinion, the immediate reaction is often to respond with more words or even raise the tone. But what if instead, you remain silent? Silence, when used well, can make the other person reflect on what they are saying, and even feel like they're not being directly challenged. On the contrary, you may be maintaining control of the situation. The solution to many of these problems could be silence. Silence, far from being an escape, is a strategic pause. It allows you to breathe, organize your thoughts, and, most importantly, Avoid lowering yourself to impulsive reactions. Often, simply not responding immediately and taking a moment to reflect makes all the difference. In a meeting situation, for example, imagine a colleague presenting an idea that you find inadequate. Instead of immediately pointing out the flaws or refuting the proposal, how about simply taking a pause? Let silence fill the space for a few seconds. This moment of reflection could be enough for you to formulate a more structured response or even observe reactions in the room that will help make a more effective decision. Silence is a powerful weapon in negotiations. Imagine a salary negotiation where you made a proposal and, instead of continuing to explain and justify yourself, you simply remain silent. This silence creates discomfort on the other side of the table, which often leads them to try to fill the void by offering a counterproposal or accepting your terms, fearing they will lose the opportunity. When you use silence intelligently in a negotiation, you are saying, "I'm comfortable with what I proposed," and you can reflect on it in your own time. The lack of an immediate response can force the other person to make a faster decision, often in your favor. Silence also offers us a valuable moment of reflection. Instead of reacting impulsively to an emotionally charged situation, silence allows us to analyze what is happening and decide the best way to act. By listening more and speaking less, you enable the communication environment to be more balanced, resulting in more thoughtful and effective decisions. In a personal relationship, for example, silence can be a tool for conflict resolution. Instead of diving into a heated argument, taking a pause to reflect can prevent impulsive words from being spoken, which often lead to regrets. What is clear so far is that silence, contrary to what many think, is not a weakness but a powerful strategy to solve everyday problems. However, understanding how to use it effectively requires practice. Let's now look at how you can apply the power of silence in concrete, specific situations in your daily life. How to use silence effectively. Practical strategies. Now that we've explored the theory behind the power of silence and its importance in daily life, it's time to learn how to apply it strategically in practical situations. There are several ways to use silence to increase your authority, improve your communication, and control your emotions. Let's explore some of these strategies. Strategy 1. Silence as a pause for reflection. In many high-pressure situations, our tendency is to react impulsively without considering the consequences. When faced with a tense situation, such as a work dispute or personal criticism, the best reaction might be simply to stay silent. This silence is not an escape, but a strategic pause to reflect on what was said and decide how to respond more thoughtfully. Instead of speaking right away, take a breath, organize your thoughts, and only then give your response. This small moment of silence can change the way you communicate, providing more clarity and preventing you from saying something you might regret. For example, imagine you're in a team meeting and someone makes a suggestion you disagree with. Instead of immediately contesting the proposal, take a moment of silence to assess the situation. Observe the reactions of other team members, think of alternatives, and only then share your opinion. In this case, silence not only allows you to think more clearly but also conveys your confidence and self-control. Strategy 2. Silence in negotiations. In negotiations, silence is one of the most powerful tools at your disposal. Imagine you are in a salary negotiation and have made a proposal you consider fair. Instead of continuing to speak to justify your proposal, remain silent and observe the other party's reaction. Here, silence puts pressure on the other side. They will try to fill the gap, and this often leads to accepting your proposal or making a more favorable concession. What silence does is create discomfort, and discomfort often forces people to make quicker, sometimes more favorable decisions for you. This type of strategy is extremely effective in negotiations of any nature, whether to increase your salary, close a deal, or even in more informal negotiations in daily life. Silence sends the message that you're not in a hurry and are confident in what you're proposing. Strategy 3. Silence as active listening. Another key aspect of the power of silence is active listening. In many situations, people talk too much trying to assert themselves or show they're right, but true communication skills involve knowing how to listen. When you listen attentively, Without interrupting or immediately speaking your mind, you convey respect and empathy. In a debate or difficult conversation, for example, silence can be the key to establishing a real connection. By giving the other person space to express themselves, you create an atmosphere of trust and mutual respect. People like to feel heard, and by choosing silence, you show that you are genuinely interested in what they have to say. Example of active listening. In a conversation with a colleague, instead of interrupting when they are speaking, practice silence. Listen until they finish, and when it's your turn, recap what they said to show you really paid attention. This creates deeper communication and builds stronger, more effective relationships. Strategy 4. Silence in moments of provocation. We've all been in situations where we were provoked or challenged. In moments like these, the most common reaction is to respond immediately, whether with a provocation of our own or an aggressive defense. However, the greatest display of strength can often be silence. When someone tries to provoke you, whether in a heated discussion or a tense work environment, silence can be the most powerful response. Instead of reacting to the provocation, staying silent signals that you are above the game and will not stoop to the level of those trying to challenge you. This silence doesn't mean weakness. On the contrary, it demonstrates self-control, confidence, and the ability to not be swayed by the emotions of the moment. Often, when you respond with silence, the other person feels uncomfortable because the absence of a reaction makes them question their own behavior. Example of silence in provocation. Imagine a colleague, in a meeting, makes a sarcastic joke about your work. The most effective response may be simply not reacting. Let silence fill the space, leaving the provocation unanswered. This not only diminishes the impact of the provocation, but also places you in a position of emotional superiority. Strategy 5. Silence as personal reflection. Finally, silence can also be an important tool for self-care and personal reflection. In an increasingly fast-paced world filled with stimuli, silence offers a space for pause, where you can connect with your own thoughts and feelings. By reserving moments of silence for yourself, you can make more conscious decisions and act with greater clarity. For example, when you're feeling overwhelmed, taking a few minutes of silence to reflect can help you organize your thoughts and recharge your energy. Silence here is not just a form of rest, but also a way to reconnect with your inner self, something essential for those seeking balance and well-being. Now that you've learned some practical strategies for applying silence, it's important to understand the benefits this practice can bring to your life. By mastering these techniques, you'll notice how silence can transform your personal and professional relationships, becoming a powerful tool for growth and success. After understanding how to use silence effectively, it's time to explore the incredible benefits this practice can bring to your life, both personally and professionally. When applied strategically, silence can be transformative. Let's see how it can directly impact your relationships, self-control, and even your success. Greater emotional control and fewer impulsive reactions. One of the greatest benefits of using silence as a tool is the ability to manage your emotions better. In situations of pressure, frustration, or anger, keeping silent can be a powerful way to avoid impulsive and harmful reactions. Silence gives you valuable time to reflect before reacting, allowing you to make more thoughtful and less emotional decisions. For example, if you're in a situation where someone makes an unfair criticism, your first reaction may be to defend yourself or respond aggressively. However, by staying silent and not reacting immediately, you create space to process the criticism more calmly and rationally. This not only prevents an impulsive response, but also makes you appear more centered and self-confident. In this sense, silence acts as an emotional pause, allowing you to regain control of the situation without losing composure. Better communication and stronger interpersonal relationships. Although it may seem contradictory, silence can significantly improve your communication. By listening more and speaking less, you demonstrate respect and genuine interest in what others have to say. This creates an atmosphere of trust and mutual understanding, essential for building stronger interpersonal relationships. When you practice silence and engage in active listening, you create a deeper connection with people. They feel you're truly paying attention and not just waiting for your turn to speak. This type of effective communication fosters empathy and can help resolve conflicts, as well as facilitate negotiations and agreements. In a professional environment, for instance, the ability to listen attentively, rather than talking all the time, can make you a more reliable and respected person. Your coworkers will feel you're someone who knows how to listen and consider, which is a key quality in any team or professional relationship. Increased authority and respect. One of the qualities that most impresses great leaders is their ability to use silence strategically. Respected leaders do not feel the need to speak all the time to assert their position. On the contrary, they know that silence conveys a powerful message of confidence and self-control. When you use silence wisely, at key moments, you come across as someone who knows what they're doing. By not responding impulsively or trying to assert yourself all the time, you gain the admiration of those around you, who begin to see your presence as something significant. Silence, therefore, is not just a way to control the conversation. It is a way to solidify your authority and respectability, reduce stress, and increased well-being. In a fast-paced world, where we are constantly bombarded with information and external pressures, silence can be a way to slow down and reduce stress. Moments of silence and introspection allow you to distance yourself from daily pressures, providing space to breathe, relax, and reconnect with yourself. Practicing silence, whether in meditation, personal reflection, or just taking breaks during a busy day, is a proven way to improve mental health and well-being. This type of temporary disconnection can help restore your energy and increase your mental clarity, allowing you to be more productive and efficient in your daily tasks. Moreover, by allowing yourself to be in silence, you reduce information overload and avoid burnout, a growing issue in the modern professional environment. Silence thus becomes a vital tool for preserving your mental and emotional health. More confidence and security. Finally, silence can be an excellent way to cultivate more self-confidence. Instead of speaking all the time to assert yourself or try to convince others, you learn to trust the power of silence. The fact that you can remain silent, even in challenging situations, is a clear sign that you're secure in your ideas and actions. This confidence in your ability to stay calm and centered conveys an image of stability and strength. People around you tend to trust you more because they associate your ability to stay silent with a mindset of self-control and competence. With all these benefits in mind, it's clear that silence is a powerful tool that can transform both your personal and professional life. However, as with any skill, to reap the benefits of silence, practice is required. Let's now look at how you can effectively cultivate this practice in your routine, making silence an essential part of your daily behavior. Now that we have explored the power of silence, how it can be applied, and the benefits it offers, the next step is to integrate this practice into your daily life consistently. Like any other skill, the strategic use of silence needs to be cultivated and practiced regularly to become second nature. Here are some practical tips to transform silence into a daily habit that will bring significant changes to your life. Start with small moments of silence. The first step in incorporating silence into your daily routine is to start with small moments of pause. In the beginning, it may be hard to remember to stay silent in stressful or high-pressure situations. Therefore, it is important to start slowly. Instead of trying to practice silence in critical moments right away, begin by inserting small periods of silence throughout your day. For example, upon waking up, take a few minutes to remain silent before starting your activities. Use this time to organize your thoughts, reflect, or simply breathe deeply. This can be especially helpful if you tend to wake up rushed and immediately enter action mode. This morning silence can set the tone for your day, helping to create a sense of calm and control. Practice silence in everyday conversations. One of the most powerful ways to practice silence is during your daily interactions. If you have a habit of constantly speaking, try to become more aware of when you really need to talk and when it would be more effective to listen. During a conversation with a friend, colleague, or even a family member, allow yourself to take more pauses, listen attentively, and reflect on what is being said before responding. Silence, when applied intentionally, creates space where you can better observe others' reactions and the impact of your words. Instead of rushing to respond or react, Use silence to assess what the other person is truly saying and how you can contribute more constructively. Take advantage of silence during stressful or conflict situations. One of the greatest opportunities to practice silence is in moments of stress or conflict. When a tense situation arises, whether in a work meeting or a discussion with someone, emotions tend to stir, and words are spoken without reflection. However, it is precisely in these moments that silence can be most helpful. Instead of reacting immediately, give yourself the time you need to reflect. Ask yourself, how can I respond more thoughtfully? How can I use silence to improve the situation? This type of pause not only prevents you from saying something you might regret later, but also allows you to make more rational and focused decisions. For example, in a work meeting where you disagree with a colleague's proposal, before rushing to refute the idea, take a step back and breathe. Silence here conveys calm and confidence, as well as giving you time to assess the situation more objectively. Set silence moments in your daily schedule. An effective way to ensure silence becomes part of your routine is to schedule silence moments into your day. This could be a 10 to 15-minute break in the afternoon, or before bed, to reflect and relax in total tranquility. By setting aside specific time for silence, you are intentionally cultivating the habit. These moments can be used for meditation, reflection, or simply to disconnect from the high-energy environment around you. The key is to ensure that you have a daily space dedicated to silence, where you can center yourself and recharge your energy. Use silence as a tool for self-reflection. In addition to being an excellent resource for communication and conflict management, silence can also be a powerful tool for self-awareness. Take time to be silent with yourself, to reflect on your experiences, challenges, and lessons learned. These moments of introspection not only help improve your self-control but also help you align your actions with your values and goals. By integrating silence as a practice of self-reflection, you create a space to reconnect with your deeper intentions, which can increase mental and emotional clarity. Involve others in your silence process. If you have difficulty practicing silence on your own, involve the people around you. Share with friends, family, or co-workers what you are trying to achieve with silence and ask for their support. Often, in work or family environments, everyone is used to interacting with a constant flow of words. By bringing the idea of pauses and conscious silences to others, you create a culture of more balanced communication. If you work in a team, suggesting moments of silence before important meetings or discussions can be a great way to ensure everyone can think clearly before engaging in debates or presentations. Now that you know how to cultivate the habit of silence, it is important to remember that this practice requires consistency. Like any other skill, silence strengthens over time and with practice. By making silence a natural part of your everyday life, you will begin to see the benefits in a practical and meaningful way. In the next chapter, we will explore how you can use silence to create an even more impactful and powerful presence, both in your personal and professional life. We have reached the culminating point of our journey: how to use silence to cultivate a truly powerful and respectable presence. Sometimes, the way we present ourselves and the energy we transmit can speak louder than words. Silence, when used wisely, not only enhances our communication but also projects an image of strength, wisdom, and confidence. Let's explore how you can use this tool to create an impressive presence in all aspects of your life. Silence as a pillar of confidence. Confidence is a quality that we all admire in leaders, influencers, and authority figures. One of the most effective ways to cultivate this confidence is through silence. Confident people know when to speak and, more importantly, know when to remain silent. This kind of behavior conveys a sense of calm, control, and certainty. By using silence frequently and strategically, you become more comfortable in your own decisions and actions. Instead of feeling the need to justify yourself all the time, you learn to trust in the strength of your presence. This creates a lasting impact on those around you, who begin to see you as a stable and reliable figure. Silence as a way to show power without having to speak. When we talk about presence, one of the first concepts that come to mind is the ability to make others notice your existence without the need for noise. Leaders and influential people do not need to strive to be heard all the time. Their presence speaks for itself. Silence, in this context, is a powerful way to establish your domain and authority without the need for words. In a meeting, for example, if you remain silent during the debate, observing attentively but without constantly intervening, it can give the impression that you are in control of the situation. You don't need to raise your voice or dominate the conversation. Simply by remaining silent, you demonstrate that you have enough confidence to listen to others, consider the information, and only intervene when necessary. This kind of presence creates natural respect and can be more impactful than any verbal argument. It serves as a reminder that true power often comes from the ability to listen and observe, rather than just speak.
Silence as a form of respect for others.
In addition to creating an impression of power, silence can also be a way to show respect for others. When you remain silent in important moments, allowing others the space to express their ideas and feelings, it strengthens your image as someone empathetic and thoughtful. Silence, therefore, is also a way to value others, and this creates a presence that transmits consideration and sensitivity. In the workplace, for example, a leader who knows how to stay silent during a difficult conversation demonstrates that they are listening and trying to understand the other person's feelings and needs. This not only strengthens trust, but also helps create a more collaborative and healthy environment.
Silence and your ability to influence.
Now, let's think about how silence can be a tool of influence in your personal and professional life.
When you master the art of staying silent in the right situations, it grants you a silent but powerful influence.
You don't need to speak all the time to be heard. On the contrary, you capture people's attention through your behavior, pauses, and the confidence with which you convey your ideas. For example, in an important negotiation, if you remain silent for a few moments after a proposal is made, it creates a tension that may lead the other party to reconsider their position. They begin to wonder if what was offered is truly enough or if there is more to consider.
This type of silent influence can be the key to achieving better results, whether in a business negotiation or a personal situation.
The presence of silence in the professional environment. In the professional environment, an impactful presence is not about being the loudest or the most talkative person in the room.
On the contrary, true presence is about how you occupy the space around you and the energy you exude when you are in a meeting, presenting an idea, or dealing with a conflict. By using silence wisely, you show that you are in control of the situation and that you can make decisions calmly and precisely. This helps build an image of professionalism and competence, and people are more likely to trust your leadership when they perceive that you can stay calm under pressure.
Example of how to use silence to create presence. Imagine that you are leading a meeting with your team. During the discussion, everyone is offering their opinions and ideas. Instead of interrupting or trying to add your own ideas all the time, you choose to listen attentively and then ask thoughtful questions. This controlled silence allows others to feel heard and respected, while you build an image of calm, strategic, and empathetic leadership.
Silence as a way to create a legacy.
Finally, silence can be a powerful tool for leaving a legacy.
Many of the most influential and admired people in history were not those who spoke the most, but those who knew how to use their words and silences wisely.
Instead of seeking validation through constant words, these figures managed to impact the world with their silent and strategically influential presence.
In your life, the practice of silence can help you build a legacy of respect, trust, and leadership in such a way that people will remember you not just for what you said, but for what you were able to represent.
Silence, in this sense, becomes a symbol of inner strength and resilience, qualities that endure far beyond the present moment. Sign up and leave your message so we can help each other. You've come here and you've certainly learned. A little every day will make you connect with your heart and evolve your mind. Until next time.